All right, welcome back, everyone. Today's Bears breakdown is on the tight end position. And this actually ended up being one of more of the exciting ones that I've enjoyed doing. As always, we're going to go right into where we stand offensively with this team. And here is our starter chart. On the right side, you see Kmet ranked 11th out of 72 tight ends. Very positive, especially when a couple guys in that top 10 are actually just part-time guys, just graded out really well in different positions. One of those was Mercedes Lewis at number 5, so kind of shows you how that ranks. But Robert Tonyan on the left side for different 12 personnel sets, 64th out of 72. Did not grade out well this year. Kind of disappointing. I know Tonyan wanted to be in Chicago, a local guy from Illinois. I just don't think that marriage is going to work out very well. I don't see him being re-signed, in my opinion, and we'll show why in this video. Here is our current contracts. Robert Tonyan's not even on there. He's a free agent. Stephen Carlson is more of a practice squad guy. He was there all the last couple of years. Kmet obviously signed his huge $50 million extension, which is, guys, if we need to go over that salary cap, we're going to do a salary cap video, but that signing was freaking genius, the way that it was pulled off. He is young and ascending, and tight ends really don't hit their stride in the NFL until year 4 or 5 when they're 27 to 30 years old. Kmet has already been on the rise. He's already a top 10 tight end. And he's only going to get better and better. I see him as a top 5 tight end, but he hasn't proven that yet. And there were some young tight ends that really came in with a storm this year. Anyways, I love the Kmet signing. So, all right, let's look at the current players on the team this last year. And here's some metrics. This is one of my favorite ones to use metrics on. Here's Kmet, Robert Tonyan, Mercedes Lewis. I got the heights and the weights right this time. Sorry for the last video. When I do my double checks, I usually just check out the stats to make sure everything's right there, make sure I've done everything properly. I didn't double check the heights and the weights of some of the bigger boys, and and it showed. So my bad, but it didn't take away from the context of the last video. All right, so the main things here, let's go from left to right. Passer rating when targeted, 98.9, 95.1 for Robert Tonyan. Mercedes Lewis, 145.5. But let's be fair, he only had 7 targets, and one was that cool touchdown that he got in the back of the end zone where everybody's calling him Big Dog. And it was 145.5 passer rating. But, I mean, he caught 6 out of the 7 pass to him. So, but the one he didn't catch was a drop. So next category over, drop percentage, 14.3. Robert Tonyan, 1.9. Kmet, 3.8. Anything below 5 is very stellar in the NFL. So Kmet, with the amount of targets he gets at 3.8 is absolutely awesome. The contested catch percentage, 33.3. You'd like to see that up a little bit from Kmet. Robert Tonyan at 50. And you can't take Mercedes Lewis's, I spelled his name wrong. Sorry, guys. It's Mercedes Lewis. You can't take his catch percentage. You have to take it with a grain of salt because he's really more of your blocking tight end, which is very valuable. So over next is going to be your receiving grade, how they run routes, how they are out in the open field. Kmet with a 67, which is very good in the NFL. Robert Tonyan with 60. Mercedes Lewis with a 51.9. Like I said, he's more of a blocking tight end. Next would be your pass blocking. And Kmet is very balanced here, 64.3. Robert Tonyan, 59. Mercedes Lewis, 68.4. And this is where Mercedes Lewis has value, tons of value. And on the run blocking as well, 73.6. So obviously you see what his role is on the team, and he excelled in that role. Run blocking for Kmet, 54.9. Robert Tonyan, 38.9. So their entire PFF grade, 73.7, 49.6, and 77.3. That's good enough for 5th, 11th, and 63rd. You can pause that. You can look it over, but there's the explanation of all that. That's where we stand on the current team. Let's look at now. Here's Big Dog, Mercedes Lewis. So you can read that if you want to. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he's basically said he's coming back for he's 39, almost turning 40. He said he's coming back. He's going to play on a league minimum contract, which is just over $1.25 million, 1.25. So, I mean, he's worth it to me to keep him on the team with that veteran experience, with his run blocking and pass blocking ability, and he hasn't lost a step. So, I mean, to me, it's worth giving him another year. Let him retire with us. Let him stay on the current roster. I'm completely happy with that, especially if we're going to bring in another young tight end, which I completely see us doing. But let's look at the top two guys in the league, how they compare. George Kittle, Travis Kelce, there are the gold standard right now. At tight end, you can see their passer rating when they're targeted is just off the charts. It's really solid. That's what you want. So we'd like to see Kmet come up a little bit on that, and there's some things he can do for that. Drop percentage, George Kittle is elite. Travis Kelce's right there. He's always right there. Contested catch rate, that's where George Kittle is really excelling. And then you can see George Kittle, I mean, he is the gold standard right now. Run blocking, pass blocking, overall grades. Sorry, that overall grade, man, I screwed up again, guys. It's not 53.1. There, fixed it. Guys, at some point we're going to get better at this, but right now it's a work in progress, but really trying my best. That's elite, 87.8. So George Kittle is the gold standard here. That's what we want to get is a George Kittle. But, I mean, tight ends in this league are becoming more and more valuable, too. You see the final four teams in the playoffs, they all had top-tier tight ends. So it's a valuable position to have. The Bears do have that, in my opinion, at Kmet. But if we can get that 12 personnel set, 2 tight ends with Kmet signed and a rookie, that would be very exciting for me. All right, so let's look at now how this compares to let's look at the draft first. Let's go to the free agent class. Here's the free agent class. I don't see anything that's going to blow our socks off and make it so that we want to let's get rid of that. Make it so that we want to sign one of these free agents instead of draft a rookie, and I'll show you why with the rookies in a minute. But all these guys for the value you get. Noah Fant, you can see that connection maybe with Shane Waldron bringing him over, but look at his run blocking doesn't improve anything. He's 30th overall. His passer rating when targeted, not stellar. I mean, he's just not a big improvement. So I don't see us going in that direction. The other two here are other young guys that could be on a value contract, 3 years, $15 million, 3 years, $12 million. I just don't see us going this direction. You can pause that if you want to and look at it, but 30th overall, 66th overall, 57th, and that's fine for a backup. I just don't see that being the direction that we end up going. So let's look at the rookies, though, because this rookie class does excite me quite a bit. Now, I know a lot of you are hung up on Brock Bowers for good reason. Brock Bowers is an elite tight end, and there's a lot of hype and a lot of buzz, and I do think he is a top 10 overall quality pick. But I want to show some of the other people in this draft, and this isn't all the tight ends. There's several tight ends. This is the ones I handpicked as ones that might be good options and good value signings for us. I would like to see us take a tight end in that 3rd, 4th, 5th round, especially if pulls off some of his trade downs, which I think we'll see some of those mid-round ones. We don't have any 6th or 7th rounders, which aren't necessarily necessary. It's more important to have the value picks, to have the higher end, high value picks, especially with us having a 1st and a 9th overall. I wouldn't be floored if we take Brock Bowers at number 9 overall. I just think we have other needs, and there's other places where that value is there, such as the defensive end position. There's such high value on that. They get paid so much, and we have top pickings of all of them. We should have the number 1 tight end defensive end off the board. I would expect us to do that there, but if we took Brock Bowers, I wouldn't be upset. Let's look at some of these guys. So here's your list of guys that I've kind of handpicked, and some of these guys you're going to see in the Shrine Bowl and in the Senior Bowl. So a good opportunity to check some of these guys out. But some of these lower guys, look at the height and weight on some of these guys. A.J. Barner, Jared Wiley, Tanner McLaughlin. I mean, all these guys, they're good-bodied size, and they rank out well with their run blocking and their pass blocking, especially A.J. Barner. I mean, there's some things that I'm looking at some of these guys. And the drop percentage on some of these guys. Tavian Sanders, Cade Stover. Cade Stover is my favorite prospect. I've put him in a ton of my mock drafts. He's a converted linebacker who knows how to hit hard. He's the one on the far left picture here, Ohio State tight end. He's played multiple positions, but he made the transition. He's a farm boy. He's a hard worker. He's a farmer. He made the transition to tight end, and he's loved it, and he has sure hands. He doesn't drop the ball ever, like literally, and he has high targets, more targets than Jatavian Sanders, Texas tight end. And he's big-bodied. He's a bruiser, and he gets those contested catches too, which is what I like. So if you're asking me, you can pause this, look over some of their stats. Some of these guys are going to raise the rankings, raise the boards. Cade Stover already has. When we started talking about him on this channel and in some of my mock drafts, he was down in the 120s, 130s. He's slowly been rising the rankings, and he's going to continue to do so. He's just high value. Right now, you can see on the PFF, he's ranked 112th, but on Draft Buzz, he's already ranked up to 95th. That's what those last 4 columns are over here, guys. The PFF grade and PFF rank, and then there's the Draft Buzz grade and Draft Buzz rank. I use those 2 sources quite a bit. You'll see in my videos. They're not an end-all, be-all, but it's a good place to get a basis for your rankings and your system of where you're looking at with players. And they tend to adjust and change accordingly, a little behind the time, but fairly quickly with where news and things change. Some of the things I did like the most, though, A.J. Barner, Cade Stover, that run blocking grade with A.J. Barner is really high. But Cade Stover's route running is super elite, and the passer rating when he's targeted, I mean, he's a great hand receiver, but he also has the big body to be able to play. So he's a multi-role tight end, and I like that quite a bit. Bringing him in with Kmet and being able to have the 2 of them, that just excites me. So if you're asking me where I stand on this draft, I would want that. There's really only one option to me for where we get our 3rd receiver, and that would be in the draft. If we don't re-sign Mercedes Lewis, I'm not going to be shocked, but I would expect us to take 2 in the draft because this is a pretty deep draft. There's only a couple really high-end guys, and really just Brock Bowers is your high-end guy. And he's more than a Kyle Pitts tight end. He's more than just hands. He is a good blocking tight end as well. He's really more of a whole package, but he is that elite receiver type of tight end. So it's nice to get that type of weapon if that's the route we go with Justin Fields being able to have another weapon there. But I would really like to see Cade Stover for the value in the other positions we need to fill. I'd like to see Cade Stover in the late 3rd round. We're probably not going to get that compensatory pick now for Ian Cunningham. It looks like Ian Cunningham is going to be with us for another year. We can do another video on that, but which isn't a bad thing. With this important year that we have, very critical to get things right. And Ian Cunningham is very well known for how much of a scout and how well he knows the players and the influence he's had on the current team and the drafts that we've done. He is clearly a right-hand man to Ryan Poles, and his value, don't let that be underestimated. He's not just the value for getting his 2 future compensatory 3rd-round picks. He's got a lot more value being with us. So if we have to give up those down the line because he didn't get some of the jobs this year, and there's not a really good reason he didn't get hired. There's some connections to different positions that went different ways with the Harbaugh hiring. I know he had a lot of influence and he wants to say on things, so he didn't get hired over there. And that was one spot he was looking to go to. So it's not a knock on him. He's very highly regarded, very highly respected. He's going to be a GM at some point. But for us to keep him is a very positive thing in my mind for this year, especially with how important this draft is at these positions and working with Ryan Poles through this process of continuing to rebuild this team. I'm actually more excited about that and the potential of him getting hired later. This is a good thing for us. Anyways, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is the tight ends. And so my preference would be Cade Stover. If we end up taking Brock Bowers, not upset because that's such a high caliber, high value guy. You look into Brock Bowers, and there's not a whole lot negative you can see about taking that pick. That's a huge pick for us if we ended up taking that. I just see other value at the top of the draft with things that we need with wide receivers, but he kind of fits that role too. But the top tier, clear-cut number 1 wide receivers, there's 3 of them at the top of this draft with defensive end, with safety, with offensive tackle, with offensive guard, with center, all those different positions we need to really solidify there. I don't see us going Brock Bowers, but if we did, I wouldn't be upset. I really see Cade Stover as my preference. But there's other great options available too. So I'm very excited to see what happens in this draft at tight end. I'm very excited to see the continued progression of Kmet. I think he's only going to get better and better. I think he's genuinely a top 5 tight end in this class, or in the NFL, even with Sam Laporta type of players coming into the league last year. I think Sam Laporta is an amazing tight end as well. The Lions really got a steal there. And if you didn't see the news, TJ Hawkinson, he ended up getting a torn ACL, so he's going to be out for a little bit. That's kind of a bummer for our division rivals, but how upset can you be? But that's a bummer for him. In that Christmas game, I think that they were playing He ended up getting injured, and he was out for the rest of the season. Now he's going to be out a little bit longer. He's ended up having surgery. But all that relates to this tight end breakdown. I think the Bears are in great shape in the tight end position. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really enjoy this mini-series. If you enjoy it, please like it. Please share it with your friends if you'd like to. I really like what we're putting together on this channel. Until next time, I appreciate you tuning in, and bear down.